I'm going to go back even further on the journey. And it got so bad when I was in elementary school that I got sent to the principal's office because I was doing more in sales volume for snacks than the entire school was doing. And I started my first business when I was in elementary school. I'm in grade 5, and so my grandma had a farm. And one of the things I noticed is I like to eat good, I like to take care of myself. And so I didn't want to be the guy at school that was, buying stuff in the tuck shop all the time and all this other stuff. So I started bringing in my own fruits and my own vegetables and that sort of stuff from my grandma's farm. Well, then people were like, hey, I want a cherry, I want a mango, I want this, I want that. And I was like, well, there's a business opportunity here. And I actually worked out a deal with them that I could sell my stuff, but I couldn't do it in the classroom. I could only do it at a certain location. And I worked out a deal with the school. And that was my first kind of business venture that I was able to buy my first bike myself. I was able to buy my first, I think at the time it was Super Nintendo was the big thing. I was able to do that on my own and not wait for mom and dad. And then that just sort of stuck with me as I kept going through life. I mean, I worked for a catering company. When I was 13, I was working for an off-track betting and gambling institution that I convinced them to hire me. I convinced them I was 17 and that I could work there. So illegally working my journey. And so it just kind of kept happening. So when I got out of high school, I took a gap year, wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And then I went back for computer programming, web design. And I actually started a company back then called MRC Solutions. I ended up selling this business after a couple of years. We were the primary marketing and design company at that time in Waterloo region. We were doing a lot of great things. And I ended up selling it to go into my career, which was a stability and a job and that sort of stuff. 2008 hits and the recession shows up. And I'm working for a US based company where 95% of our business is done in the United States. We were a electrical enclosure company. So if you're driving down the road, you see these big boxes on the side of stop signs and things like that. We built all of those all across North America. Well, our primary business was the US. And so when the recession hit, they weren't building as many roads, they weren't building as many neighborhoods, they weren't building as many of anything. So I came in one day and I got handed a pink slip in a box and they were like, dude, we're so sorry, but anyone that's not senior is getting let go. And they let go, there was tons of us that lost our jobs that day. And I ended up kind of losing my passion for the industry that I was in. I ended up kind of losing security would probably be the best thing that I could describe it. So all of a sudden I don't have a job. I've got a month worth of severance. I've got 2 kids and I got to figure life out. And nobody's hiring because I'm in the tech field. And in a recession, well, tech, they just stop hiring. Like nobody anywhere.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
So I had a really rough go. And so for about 3 months, I was depressed. I was gaining a lot of weight. Had all this stuff kind of happening. And I took a job back